Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Handmade by Ying with Donna. Today is, ouch, got a little something, got sidetracked there. Today is Saturday, May 21st, 3 o'clock p.m., and I have a special guest with me, Scrap Fabric Love, none other than Kristen Hubert. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah, yeah.
No problem. I'm excited to have you. Wait and see how many people come join the chat. But I always go ahead and give it a second or two early. That way, if anybody wants to jump on and give us their hellos or whatever, we've got that. I'll take a quick swig.
I'll meet you.
And I've learned that by dating my videos down the road, I'll always be able to see not just their timestamp, but I'll be able to see when we did this.
Yeah.
Let me see. Are we out there, sweetheart? All right. I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet. That's why I was asking. Ingrid's there. Ingrid Bowser. Hello, honey. She says, hi, Donna and Kristen.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm just now getting it. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's in the chat and then we can move forward. Hi, Marie. How are you? Hi, Donna and Kristen. I love you, ladies. Well, we love you too, sweetheart. Give a couple seconds. I'm waiting on one of my wrenches to jump in. I like to have them in the chat too in case you get any, as they say, trolls. I didn't know when I started that I needed to have moderators
Oh,
and the
goodness.
importance of. But I guess I'm not sure if you use moderators or not.
I don't do much live, so I don't really need to. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I've learned the hard way because you get,
Okay.
it's
Right.
not like nasty comments, but it's just what I would consider inappropriate. So
Okay.
now my mods just tap it down. So,
Useful.
yeah. Hello, I love Kristen's videos. Hi, Donna.
Well,
Hi,
thank you.
Janine. Welcome. Marie, hello, welcome. They're talking to each other, saying hello, hello. Well, ladies, I'm going to go ahead and get started because I don't know where everybody else is, but they can catch us on the replay whenever we're finished. So I'm going to go ahead and open the interview up. We've got about an hour or so, and let's have a good time. So, Kristen, can you tell me anything about you in general, like husband, kids, puppy dogs, fish, whatever? Just a little
Sure.
bit of a background on just you personally.
Sure. And I wanted to start by saying thank you for the time change of you because it's 8 p.m. here where I am. So Donna's kind of accommodated me with the time. So
Not
thank
a
you.
problem. I would do that to have you on my channel because
Well,
I appreciate you. You're kind of
okay.
like my celebrity.
Hardly.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm originally from Canada, Toronto.
oh,
Yep, but I live in Edinburgh in Scotland, and I have done for like 20 years or so. So I often have people
wow.
asking on my channel, where are you from? Because it says Edinburgh and then my accent's not Scottish. But anyway, and I've got husband Ross, and then I've got two kids, they're 3 and 5, so just got them down to bed. And
Bless your heart.
yeah, and we've got three kitty cats, no dogs. And I started quilting basically at the start of the first lockdown here, so March 2020. And it was like my kind of, yeah, my sort of stress relief from all of that because the kids were home, the husband was home. And so I sort of, once everyone was asleep, I was like, I'm hiding in this room and I'm just sewing and I'm not thinking about what's going on in the world and all of that. So
I
that's
think
kind of how it all started.
you and I are kind of like on the same page there. It was like our first lockdown, per se. You know what I'm saying? And none of us really knew where this COVID was going and what was happening. And I don't
Yeah.
know whether it was fear within us as moms or the unknown of what was coming because I've never in my life been told I couldn't leave
Yeah.
my
Well, I
house
mean,
or,
it was just also bizarre for everyone. Like, and
yeah,
obviously it's going to be scary. I don't think it's just being mums, but yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
It was just
Totally.
overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holly, I did get your message. Welcome. And we've already pulled your email and it is entered into the contest. Anybody that's in the chat today, if you've not entered our contest for our 1K giveaway, please refer to the May 15th video. You need to watch that video and it'll instruct you how to enter that contest. I'm going to hop back into the interview, guys. Sorry about that.
Giveaway.
Yeah, we've got a big giveaway, so
gotta take care of it. Yeah.
You gotta help me out here. You gotta enter too. I ship all over.
All right.
Absolutely. This is a big one. So my granddaughter, we call her Bebe. She joins me periodically on my channel, and when we did the 200 giveaway, we didn't expect to hit milestones so quick, but with friends sharing and everything, that's been accommodating for us. And so now when we hit 1,000, she sent me a picture of it, and I was at a meeting, and she goes, "Ying, look," and I was like, "What?" And she showed it to me, and I was like, "Nah, you go to your grandpa and show him that." And she goes, "He knows." She goes, "We got to plan your next giveaway." So that's where we are.
Yeah.
So
congratulations.
It's been exciting. I've got a long way to go, a lot to learn. We didn't know in the beginning thumbnails and stuff, because some videos my husband would just put them up and I might be looking at a funny thing or doing this and I look really crazy when they started.
You can change them a little later, whatever.
I didn't know all that stuff. Yeah. So one of the questions that was submitted, do you do any long arming or like your own quilting?
I do my own quilting. I do not have a long arm. I wish. That's like the
pipe dream for the future.
Yeah. When I get like an extra room in my house and some extra money, for sure. No.
I would have to blow a wall out somewhere. I don't want to move for a long arm.
Yeah, I wish.
Sean, welcome to the chat. I was telling Kristen about you. She's going to pop over to your channel one day and give you a look-see. Sean, the guy who sews.
Oh, the guy who sews. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, no, but I do quilt all my quilts. And I've got a Bernina B770. Is a relatively new, like I bought it relatively recently. It was like an X-display machine. So
now, does it have all the funny stitches, or is it just?
I bought it for the throat space. So I think it's like 10 inches or something like that. So it's bigger than the one I had before. And then I'll either do free motion or like just like straight, like it doesn't have you can buy a walking foot, but it's got this, I think it's called a dual feed. So you can use that like a walking foot. It's like a built-in walking foot.
Oh, yeah. You can't beat that at all.
Yeah.
When you do your free motion quilting, is yours an inset into your table, or is it built up to where you've got to build around it when you're?
Well, I used to do it just like with the extension table that came with the machine, but I bought a Horn Quilter's Delight table last year for the flatbed. That's why I bought it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it kept getting caught underneath that extension table. It's so annoying.
Absolutely. And that's where I had trouble. So I bought a mid-arm.
Oh, wow.
I bought it last year off Becca. She was selling hers.
Wow.
My husband and I bought that because she was upgrading, and she goes, "You're going to outgrow this. I'm telling you, you're going to fall in love with it." Well, I don't have the space to outgrow it, so it's a blessing.
Cool. Oh, that sounds fun.
I didn't know how true this is, but I heard a long arm cost around $60,000 in Australia. I absolutely have no clue. Have you?
I'd be surprised if it was that much, because I think it's around, depends, but like you might have used here for about 2,000 pounds. I don't know what that is in dollars. And then
yeah, I don't know how to do that conversion.
Up to like 6,000 pounds maybe. So maybe I would be surprised if it was more than 15,000 American, but right. I would think you could get them cheaper.
Oh, absolutely. Let me see. Where you live, I'm just going to start at number 1 and work down instead of bouncing around, because I should have typed them in order as the way they come in.
All right.
Let me get down here. Do you ever do any custom work for anyone, or is it everything that you do for yourself?
Well, I mean, I give things as gifts, but I don't sell anything that I make. No. Yeah. So it's not custom in the way they mean, I don't think. Yeah,
I think they're kind of like,
yeah,
can we hire you?
No. Too much pressure. No, thank you.
You're like I am.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been making quilts? I think you pretty much said like 2 years.
Like 2 years.
The
2 years.
COVID got you into it.
Yeah.
And moving
Yeah. And then it
forward.
just becomes this addiction that's just like grows and grows, as you know.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
Yeah.
At what age did you begin to sew? Did you ever sew before the COVID?
Did, yeah. So my grandma used to sew stuff. She had like really funny mending things that she did with her clothes. So she taught me like basic knitting and some sewing. And I did. My sister sent me some photos recently of something I made that looks a bit like a quilt, but it's like, so it's got like knitted squares and then felt squares with a bunch of like embroidered scenes on it of like memories of our life that I did her for Christmas. So I think I did it when I was in university, but, and it's got like some sort of a backing, like it looks ridiculous, but I don't think there's anything in the middle. And I don't think I exactly knew what a quilt was. So it's like some weird half quilt art piece thing that I, for some reason, did, and then didn't do anything after that.
Oh, bless your heart. I'm sure, but looking back at where you started versus where you are today, that's a big jump.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the interest was there. I don't know where it went for the 20 years in between.
Honest to God, if you asked anybody in my family, I couldn't sew a button on before the COVID.
Oh, wow.
Totally self-taught.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me see. It says here, were there special people or circumstances that encouraged you to begin the quilt? How did you learn to quilt? Who taught you to piece quilt? There's like 8 questions here in one.
Around that. Yeah. So, well, yeah, obviously COVID was an instigator, but I did do like crafting and making things before. So I've got 2 blogs. One is the same name as the YouTube channel, Scrap Fabric Love, and one is called Upcycle My Stuff, which is the older one.
Let me write
And
that.
so that's all about like upcycled projects, and it's got guest posts from people who redo furniture and stuff like that, and all sorts of projects made of denim. And I turned like a cot bed into a garden bench and sewed the cushions for that, stuff like that.
What is it called? Upcycled what?
Upcycle My Stuff. Yeah. So I was kind of, I think I was doing something sewing-ish with that. And then COVID happened, and then the quilting kind of came from that. And then I decided to just make it a separate thing because it just felt like I was getting so into the quilting. I didn't want to just put quilting on all my sort of upcycling subscribers who were like, this is nice, but that's not what I
signed up for.
Exactly. So I was like, this has to be, and now this is like more what I spend my time on. But, and in terms of who taught me, I mean, it was YouTube taught kind of, I think like the same as you kind of. So loads of different folk. Yeah.
Here's the next question. What other crafts do you practice? And how does quilting compare to those activities?
Well, quilting is the obsession. The other crafts were kind of like more, I would call them more functional. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd be kind of like, either I have this thing and I don't want to throw it out, so what could I make out of it? Or I have this problem, how could I solve it by making something? Do you know? Kind of, so it would be, or decorating or something like, so it'd be more like, because I really like, the other thing that I probably really, really like is decorating my house or other people's houses and stuff like that. But I would do it with upcycled stuff, and let's go buy something on, it's called Gumtree here. It'd be like Craigslist in the States or whatever. And then let's whatever, copper leaf it or do whatever, something to it, that kind of thing. But the quilting is just like surpassed that in terms of the hours I spend on it, you know?
Okay. The guy who sews, how expensive is fabric for use over there?
So it's hard for me to answer because I don't
go by like meters, or do you go by yards?
They sell meters here. Yeah, but they still call it fat quarters, but it's slightly different. I think it might measure it slightly differently. But I tend to buy on eBay. So I tend to buy other people destashing or remnants, bolt ends, scrap bags, stuff like that. So it's relatively cheap for me. And also because I guess it's because Britain's a bit smaller, so the postage is not that much for me when I buy on eBay. I know folk have told me when I mention it on my channel and they go and look to do it in the States, the postage on stuff like eBay and Facebook Marketplace is like it's a bit over the odds for you guys, but it does often, it's not an issue here, so I can get lots cheap. So like I was telling you just before we started, my most recent acquisition is this big box of 25 pairs of ripped blue jeans that I got for 13 pounds, including the postage, which is like, I think I was thinking that was maybe $18 American.
Right.
And that'll make a quilt or more.
Oh,
Maybe more.
easy.
Yeah, for sure. So
Oh,
yeah.
absolute. Let me see. The guy says, "Oh well, you have gum trees." Popular in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
1 meter is 1 yard 3 inches. He's saying.
Yeah.
Don't forget to give a thumbs up for Donna and subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you, sweetheart. Let me see what else. Where are we? Do you have a certain time of day that you normally quilt? Mine's pretty much in the evenings.
Yeah, mine's the evening. It's basically after the kids are in bed, basically. Yeah.
Do you belong to any quilt guilds or clubs where you live?
Yeah, there's a place called Thistle Quilters that I'm part of. So they're like I guess they're like a guild. They're associated with I'm gonna get it wrong. I think it's just called the Quilters Guild. It's like a British wide thing, but then this is the local chapter of it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you know others who quilt within your community or your parish?
Yeah, so there's a couple of within that local group. There's then like a smaller group where we kind of meet. We met on Zoom. I joined during COVID, so we met on Zoom, and then I met a couple of them, for coffee roundabouts, that kind of way. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Reasons for quilt making. Why do you quilt, and what does the quilt give you back?
See, I don't know, the why is like, I think it's just like the kind of creative process of it. Like I obviously liked making things before. I've got a kind of thing about transformation, like all of the jobs I've had before, like even the office jobs and stuff. That's kind of the theme that runs, like, how do you make something that nobody values into something that's valuable? So in the quilting, it would be the fabric scraps or the stuff that people would normally put in the bin or that other people are destashing. I'm like, I can do something with that, or those ripped jeans or whatever, and then having it become something else. And I think it's also a way of just when I'm doing it, it's kind of almost like a meditative thing. It's kind of like a de-stressing thing. I'm not, because I'm kind of a thinker. And when you're sewing, you've got something else to channel it into, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And do you ever notice that your sewing machine goes faster when you're really stressed? You're like, zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah. I think that's what it gives me back. Yeah.
Let me see. What do you like the most about quilting? Is it the process of like drawing out your pattern, or working out your fabric and cutting it, or the sewing portion, or the quilting? What do you like? If you had to pick from start to finish of a quilt, what would you say is your favorite part?
Goodness, that's hard, because at different times I like different things. I do like all of them. Like I would sometimes say my favorite part is the binding, just because you're almost done and but it's not really. No, I like the getting into the, like, so I don't do a lot of patterns. Like I do a bit more like, let's throw the scraps on the floor and move them around and then sew them together and kind of that kind of thing. Or I'll make my own blog or something like that. So I kind of like that process of what's gonna go together.
Right.
And then I do quite like the quilting as well, especially free motion.
Well, I'm not saying that. Someone wants to know why you spend so much time on such a craft. I get enjoyment out of mine.
Yeah. I think I don't know. There must be a personality of people who get drawn to quilting and then they get kind of obsessed and addicted to it. I don't know anybody who just does it a little bit.
When I first started right-handed good, I was on my dining room table on a borrowed sewing machine, and it just turned from mass making into what it is now over the course of like 2 years.
I know. So, like, without even thinking about it, just happens.
Absolutely, because what we thought was going to be wee little has now exploded, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
If someone would have told me in the beginning this was going to happen, I was like, no, I can't even sew a straight line.
No.
How does your family, friends, and community feel about your quilt making? Do they like your quilts? But basically, I would break it down to what your family think. Do you make them for your kids and your hubby?
Yeah. Well, I haven't made one for my husband yet, actually, but I made it for my sister and various other friends. And I think my friends were the ones who got the first Christmas kind of thing. They say they like them. I presume they like them. I don't know, unless they're lying through their teeth. But I think they also kind of, my husband probably is like, okay, here's another thing that she's like really getting into, because I am a bit of an obsessive personality. So she's like, okay,
Yeah,
okay, Jim.
in my mind, I think everybody, like when I first started, my daughter, her husband, and granddaughter, that my first quilts, I should say, I've they went to her house and they're loving them. Whether it's love because they don't want to hurt my feelings or they actually like them, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they were a little rough around the edges, but I've evolved quite a bit since then and grown. But I in my mind it was like if I knew you, you got a quilt, or you got a
Yeah,
placemat, or
yeah.
you got curtains, whatever the case was. If it went on my machine, I was gonna do it.
Yeah, no, I've still got people on my list. Yeah. So if you know me and you haven't got a quote yet, it's coming.
I think it's in us. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about quilt making versus your other household duties?
Oh,
Rather be quilting or cleaning toilets?
no, I don't clean toilets. No. That's what husbands are for.
Did you hear that, Joe?
No, housework's not my strong suit. I'll put it that way.
Exactly. Do you have a favorite quilt that you've made so far?
Yeah, I think so. I did put one here. Um, this is just it's the one that sits on my chair actually in here, but it's like you can't see the whole thing, but
I love that.
it's called X marks the scrap. So it's just a really simple foundation paper piece block that I made, and the center is just like scraps on adding machine tape. You've probably seen
Oh,
people.
is that how you did that?
Yeah, and then the block itself is just foundation paper piece to make it easy to add that in with a whole mix of like low volume
Right.
scraps. That's kind of my thing. I like doing the colored scraps with a bunch of negative space, but it doesn't have to be all the same fabric kind of thing.
Right. I like that. That's so pretty. You've got good taste when you're blending your fabrics.
Thank you.
Let me see. Where do I already did that one. We know your quilts are scrappy like mine. What kind of quilts do you like to do the best? And what kind of quilts? It's asked twice. Same question.
Well, yeah. So it's good. Yeah, it depends on my mood. I sort of alternate between scrappy like that and scrappy like I'm doing like a low volume crumb quilt thing. This is just some sections of it. So these are the ones where like you didn't think.
Just solid black and whites.
No, it's like a low volume, like kind of reads white, kind of. So any kind of scrap is like that, yeah. And I've got a whole bunch of other sections, and eventually I'll have enough of them to make a quilt. But so I like that kind of mindless stuff. And then I also like when I want to be precise or I want to make something look like something, then the foundation paper piece stuff. So like the farmer's wife blocks back there and stuff like that. So
that is something I would love to do. Just
I've kind of got the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the mood.
Haven't took the plunge into it yet.
Yeah.
Um, what would you consider a pretty or fancy quilt? And what is your favorite pattern if you go by patterns?
So what's pretty or well, anything's pretty. I get most quilts are pretty, but fancy, I guess, would be something like something like this where it's taking me a lot of time. I'm just doing one block at a time, and so I'll probably be more careful maybe with the quilting and stuff of that than with something that it only took me a week to make the quilt top, or do you know what I mean? So, but it's not that it's one's more or less valuable. It's just obviously it took more of my time. Kind
Exactly.
of thing. Yeah. What was the other one? I can't remember what you said. Sorry.
I should have marked it. It's okay. What do you consider a fancy quilt versus a pretty quilt? And how can you tell the difference between a pretty quilt? I think anything we put our time into is pretty.
Yeah. And everyone has different tastes. And
do you have a specific quilt pattern that you've done that you like?
No, so I've only done like full quilt patterns. I think I've only done 3 from other people, and otherwise it's either block patterns like the foundation paper piece stuff that I would do, or just something I've kind of made up myself. So not really. Yeah, I get kind of frustrated sometimes with full quilt patterns. Just it's something about the way they're written, and like how you have to cut it all first and then do this step all first and that's it. And my brain just doesn't work like that, and it just frustrates me a bit. So
Right.
yeah,
I have to read a pattern 3 or 4 times, and then I'm
yeah.
like, why aren't they doing this with this scrap before I ever get it started? So I rip it apart in my mind, thinking, what am I going to do here?
But that's why I like the foundation paper piece, because you can kind of, yeah, they might give you the fabric requirements, but you don't necessarily have to cut it first. You can just,
so
you know what I mean, do it with the lines and then cut it off at the quarter, like when you get that piece done, and it's
yeah,
just a bit easier for me. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Um, how do you decide on your colors, or do you just pull and make everything real scrappy?
Um, so I've got a thing where I like to kind of color group if I'm doing something like so yeah, like this one I showed, like the one I showed you before, like I kind of, yeah, it's random, but see, I would have chosen this is going to be green and yellow, and that one's going to
Right,
be purples or something like that. I've tried to like just have them totally random altogether, and I don't like it. It doesn't tend to work for me.
right.
And then also I need the contrast of something else beside it. So like a dark or a light or something that's not too, because if it's too busy, it just doesn't appeal to me too much.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. Um, do you ever use the recommended color pattern palette on any quilts, or do you see anything in books that you like to gravitate towards?
Probably don't use
Yes.
recommended stuff for anything. No.
Yeah. I pull from my
Yeah.
stash and hope for the best. I try to get
Yeah.
my low, medium, and dark volumes together and go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, do you have a specific color that you gravitate towards, and what is your favorite color?
Yeah. So in quilting, I gravitate towards like hot pink for some reason, but like I don't choose that in anything else in like my whole life. I wouldn't wear hot pink. I don't decorate in hot pink. I don't do anything else in hot pink, but I got lots of hot pink fabric. I don't know what it is. It's
Um,
weird.
you're like I am. You don't really buy your patterns. We kind of modify what we do get. So skip that one. Um, let me go over this real quick because I want to buzz down these. Do you ever have a quilt specifically that you would label a total fail when you did it? You didn't
Yeah.
like it when it was done, or you
Yeah.
ripped it out and still don't like it?
So I've got a video about it. I think I can't call it something like my worst quilt ever or something like that. And it was I was trying to use some orphan blocks and some denim, and what was I think I was angry about something when I was making it. It I'm not sure, it could have been Ukraine, to be honest. I can't remember. And anyways, it just came out terrible. But my son, my 3-year-old, loves it, so he's taken it. But I didn't even bind it. I was so like disgusted with it, so I just zigzagged the edges and never. I might bind it for him later, but yeah,
Yeah, sometimes you get disgusted with something and you just like, I'm done. And I honestly, I've been there. I think
yeah,
that happens to all of us, where it's just
yeah,
like
yeah,
when it starts to go south, you're done with it.
yeah.
Um, what is your greatest achievement on a quilt?
Hmm. Um, Probably just like learning the free motion quilting. I think I was kind of glad that I tried that early. Like when I started, like I didn't know enough to be afraid of it at the
Right.
beginning. You know what I mean? Whereas I think if I've left it too long, then I might have been too intimidated to start it, because I know that's how a lot of people feel
I
about it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
when I first started, I didn't know a thing about like dropping your feed dogs and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So I thought I was free motion quilting, and I'm being sincere. I would just drive around on my fabric per se. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, 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 yeah,
looks so
yeah.
pretty. And then I was telling one of my auxiliary ladies about it, and she's like, Donna, no, that's called sewing. You have to drop your feed dogs. So I had to come home and look in the book, and I told my husband, I said, I got to drop these feed dogs. So he helped me, and we figured that out. And I fell in love with the process of how that was so much easier than me taking a queen size quilt under a little throat trying to drive it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love the process.
yeah.
Um, when you began on YouTube, what was your selling point on coming onto YouTube?
I think I was just kind of trying to show, because I started the channel when I was still learning. So I guess, I still am, like, so it was kind of like, let's just be open about being a kind of confident beginner and go, we're just going to do this slightly differently. And we don't have to necessarily follow all the rules. And I'm going to show you the stuff that turns out terrible and whatever,
You're going to
like,
show
yeah.
everything because I think you're
Yeah.
transparent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Whether
yeah.
it's a good thing or a bad
Yeah,
thing, you're going to show it because we all have good times in
yeah.
what we're doing. Then we
And I
also
think,
have fails.
yeah, and I think there's more voices out there like that now, but they're definitely like, maybe it was just what I was watching or when I was watching it, but I did feel a bit of intimidation from some of the quilting when I started, and all the rules and the whatever. And so I just wanted to be a voice of someone going, yeah, that's fine. You can learn that if you want, but if you want to do the quilting and that's stressing you out, just forget about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Um, can you remember back to when you put your first video up?
I don't think I can, because I was posting like videos from my upcycling stuff before, and then when I decided I was just going to do quilting, I changed the name of the channel. So I don't actually remember which one would have been the first quilting one or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Were you nervous when you posted your first video? How far have you evolved since then? And do you have any guidance for anyone else on starting up?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I would go back even before the first video. So like when I started the first blog, it wasn't the quilting one, the upcycling one, I didn't even want to have my picture on it. Like it was just going to be an anonymous blog where I just showed my upcycling crafts and stuff like this. And then somehow over time, it became clear that it's better just to show yourself. And then eventually I must have been like, this would be better demonstrated with a video. And then you just kind of do it. And obviously, you know, it was intimidating. That's not like, if you told me, yeah, 5 years ago, you're going to have a YouTube channel where you're quilting, I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not going to be on YouTube and I don't know how to quilt. So what are you on about?
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you.
So it'd be like, just do it. And like, the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with anything, whatever it is. Like,
absolutely. I think we're all human, and if people's out there talking good about us, then we're doing well. And if they're talking bad, it's just on them, you know? They don't define who we are as people.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
And we learn from each other. The chat people, I'll catch you here in a few minutes and catch up with the chat, but I want to keep the conversation going. What did you do during the COVID pandemic to improve your knowledge and grow?
Well, so I was obviously said I've learned to quilt them, but it was during the day we would split the day working and looking after the kids because everyone was home, and then they're asleep, and I would come in and either watch YouTube and then sew something or listen to quilting podcasts. So I had what's the one? Just Wanna Quilt. Do you know that one?
No.
Elizabeth Townsend Guard. She's like a copyright lawyer.
Just Wanna Quilt.
Just Wanna Quilt, yeah. And so she and I kind of went back to the beginning and listened to what. So she talks to quilters, she talks to like people who manufacture thread, and it was just like an audio quilting university kind of thing.
I would like something like that.
While I was sewing.
When you're sewing, you want to hear something.
Yeah, I always have to multitask, and I would get, and during that sort of definitely the first lockdown, and probably a lot of 2020, I was so obsessed with it, so needing to kind of chill out from all the stress of everything. I was up till like 1 a.m, like and then getting up with the you know what I mean? So it was like, I was like, I am just gonna learn this, and I'm just gonna, so I put in a lot of hours.
Oh, absolutely. Now, did you do any book studying as far as learning how to do all this, or did you just self-taught, you know?
Well, so mostly YouTube, but I did get a few books. What is her name? I might say it wrong, Christina Camelli, maybe. She's
Jamila,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So she does, she's got videos, but she also had some books on free motion quilting, and she just had good ones with different designs in it to practice. So I think I remember looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how many lockdowns have you all had there?
Three?
And for
Two
you
or
guys, a
three.
lockdown is confined to home, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't go out unless you have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how
Kind
ours
of.
was. I think
Yeah.
we've had like two. We took a step forward after the first one, then we come out, and then
Yeah.
it was like the second one.
Yeah. We've also had lots of sort of half things where you can go out more, but only socialize with so many people,
Yeah,
or,
that's
you
how
know,
ours
that
was.
kind
It
of.
was like baby steps to come out of jail.
But then we came back, and then, yeah, I can't remember if it's two or three, or I
Yeah,
can't.
it was awful, but I
Yeah.
wasn't sure, and that's one of the questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. Do you do you prefer to work independently, or do you thrive in a team environment in a group setting? Like, do you like to Zoom sew, or do you like to just sew on your own at your own pace?
I mean, I like the Zoom chat with other quilters and stuff, but I probably would more so on my own, because I kind of get into a bit of a zone sort of thing. And when you're doing it on Zoom, I feel like I'm having to like chat and then press mute while I sew, and then because I don't want to make too much noise and all that stuff.
That would
Yeah.
be me. But I'm just like my baby lock. She's a little workhorse. My first one was a singer, and it wasn't quite as noisy, and it had all these fancy stitches that I'll never learn in my lifetime. And all this coding and stuff. Like if I want to put someone's name on it, I can pull that out
All
and
right.
type their name into it, and it'll do it. But then you still
Nice.
got to sit there and pick out in between each letter to make it look
Uh,
like what it's supposed to.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so. But this one here, it sounds like a freight train coming down the
Yeah,
road,
not
and
good
it's
for
well
Zoom. No.
oiled. Yeah. Let me see. When you're all piled up on your work and you feel like you've got a self-imposed deadline to meet, how do you handle that? Do you just kind of like separate from the family and go do what you need to do to get it done, or
Yeah, I would just kind of stay up late or whatever. And it's kind of, the evening, like my husband goes to bed early because he's tired from the day and stuff. And I'm more of a night owl, so I'll just
right?
stay up and
Yeah,
just
that's
sew
what I
until
would
I'm until I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any tips? Because I've got quite a few people in the chat, but this came from one of them. How do you feel, or what should content creators, and there's several in our chat,
Okay.
what would be three major components that they would take from this interview with you to bring good content to their channels? What have you
I
learned, like good and the bad,
I
basically?
think the key thing, and this is so for YouTube and for blogging, is just consistency. So it doesn't, like, I know there's all sorts of science, but what day of the week or whatever, but just like to pick a schedule that you're going to stick to. So I put out videos every Monday, and I'll have a blog post for my blog every week, kind of thing. And I've done that for like in terms of the blog post for a couple of years now. And if you don't have your own kind of set schedule of how you're going to keep it consistent, whatever it is, then it falls off, and then it's like, then it becomes once a month or whatever, and any of these algorithms, YouTube, Google, whatever, they're going to reward fresh content. So it's just
The
keep
more you're
it
out
coming,
there.
basically. Yeah. So, and then part of that is you can't be too much of a perfectionist. So you have to be kind of like, well, I just have to get something out. Now you can't edit a YouTube video once it's out, but you can edit a blog post, infinite times. So just kind of do it the best you can and get it out. And, if you're consistent in that way, you're going to have more content, and then more of it's going to be good. If you're like waiting for the content to be perfect,
You're never
then
gonna post.
you'll never post it, and you'll never have that volume of work. You know what I mean? So I'm
Right.
sure I have some crap videos and some crap blog posts.
Amen. I'm with you. And
Whatever.
in my early ones,
But
I
yeah,
go back and look at now, and I'm like, some
yeah,
days you're just brain tired anyway, and you're
yeah,
trying your best, and you can't make your words right. And it's like, I know what day of the week it is. Why couldn't I articulate that day was Tuesday? I
yeah.
couldn't find the word. You get just, I
But just
think,
do it
because
anyway.
in front of
That would be the
people.
main thing. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. How do you respond to negative criticism as a content creator that we all face from one time or another? And any words for any of us to learn by?
Well, I mean, I haven't had any truly nasty stuff, so I don't know exactly how I would respond to that. Probably just delete it. But
Yeah, that's what I've done too.
yeah, I have had some kind of negative, but you kind of I just can see that they're coming from somewhere else. So I would respond to it in terms of like practically politely, because
Right.
whatever. But it's normally been something like, I don't want to hear you talking so much. Get to the point, show me how to make the thing, or show me the best way to do this. And usually my answer is like, well, there isn't a best way. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking you through how I tried some different things and what I decided was best for me. But you might watch all the things I tried and think, actually, no, I like that third one instead, not the one you picked, right? So my channel is probably just not for that person. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I would end it with. I do respond to all my comments, the good or the bad, and I take and like, one might be like, I can't believe you went on without curling your hair today. What's wrong with you? People's gonna see it, and I'm like, one, my hair's straight as a poker. I don't curl my hair.
Yeah, no, I have had comments on the hair actually.
I'm just like, they're taking their time to tell me about it. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, thank you for pointing out my flaws. I didn't even look in the mirror today. You know, you just come with kindness.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do you ever do hand-stitched binding?
I've done it twice. So I did it once for just a friend's quilt for a gift because I wanted to try it. And then another time, I did hand stitch facing. That's what I did. But it takes a lot of time. It's not my favorite. In terms of for binding a quilt, I'm not sure it's worth it to me. I'd rather just have that machine, that whatever square border.
Exactly.
For the facing, I can see how, if you like, it was for like a wall hanging. So I can see that was worth it. But for a quilt, a large quilt, I probably wouldn't do it. No.
Yeah, I'd be afraid to. I like it. I want them to know it's all secured and really good, because no matter what, I'm going to wash them. They're going to get crinkly, and I don't know if my hand stitching would be tight enough. Do you prefer to use a set kind of needles? Do you have a special pair of scissors that you like? What kind of thread do you use? And do you have any other fancy hidden tools we need to know about?
I am not a needle expert. I just buy stuff. So I think I have the ones they call quilting needles or top stitch needles, and I've got some denim needles, but I don't always use the denim needles when I sew with denim. I just have them.
You use them when you're using.
I use them sometimes. So no, I don't really have a special needle. Thread, I do have some Aurifil, but I don't know that I've noticed the difference. I did buy a big stash off of somebody destashing in a Facebook group of Coats Moon, and it's fine. Like, you want a cheaper one, and so I use a lot of that. Scissors. I've got my left-handed. I'm left-handed, so I've got my left-handed scissors. Yeah, and I don't really have any fancy special tools. Where's the one? Oh, maybe here. I'm sure most people will have seen this, but this is the thing that Karen Brown shows how to make on her channel. It's like for binding.
Yeah. So I love that.
I use that. Yeah. So I made that from her instructions, and I use that when I bind.
I'll have to go on and look at that.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Let me see. Do you have any quilts that you've got in mind to make? Like, do you have any that you want to start making?
Yeah, well, I'm about to baste one that so it's like started with isosceles triangles from an AccuQuilt die. I've got like all that AccuQuilt cutter stuff because I'm lazy with
you have that?
Yeah. But I'd never used the isosceles triangle thing. So I just cut a bunch, and then it turned out being like a hexagon on the front, and that was fine. That took less than a week. And then I've now spent the last 2 weeks doing the back. It's this super scrappy, I don't know if you can even see it.
Oh, honey, that is so pretty.
Huge. It's like, so I did it. It's way huger than the quilt itself because it's a great big triangle.
Oh my.
Lots of triangle strip. Anyway, so I'm going to trim it down. But so that's the one that's going to get done next. And then I've got like the ongoing ones, like the farmer's wife quilt, and I'm doing off and on a weight loss quilt.
Now, how did you get started with doing that?
So this is it. So I do, it's kind of like a habit trick tracker in quilt form.
Yeah, I saw your video on it, but I didn't know what each of your dots mean different.
Right. Yeah. So I've got a thing on my website that you can download that's like a key. So you can decide what you want yours to be. But mine are like low volume squares if I've eaten healthy, orange if I've not eaten healthy. This is a pair of old pink jeans. So I put that in when I've lost weight. So it's like the eighth block of the week. Yeah, because there's 7 days and then the weigh-in block. And then the circles are whether or not I exercise. If there's no circle, I didn't exercise. If there's a big pink one, it was over 40 minutes. If it's orange, it's over 20 minutes. And if it's blue, it's like just 20 minutes.
God love you.
So I've been doing that since last November, and I've lost 25 pounds, but I had a real struggle with it during March. So the war and everything. And I just was like, that's just so not important. And I just stopped doing stuff. And then it was actually folk on the channel, when I talked about it, they were like going, that's not a reason to give up your health. kind of like, so I was like, they gave me a kick in the butt, really. And so I've started it again, but I need to get more serious, but that's an ongoing thing that I'm doing. Yeah.
Right. And one of the things here is with the war in the UK.
In the Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's not in the UK.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's playing on all of us emotionally because I'm sure we all feel it's senseless,
Yeah.
But
crazy.
Have you made a special block or something and donated to any organization?
Yeah, I made it's actually upstairs, so I don't have it here, but I made a wall hang. So the central block was from Sasha's Quilts. So she's a Ukrainian quilt pattern designer. So it's foundation paper piece. It's a great big 20-inch thing. And then I've got a free foundation paper piece heart block that I've designed. So I put that like as the cornerstones.
Ooh,
and then it's like a wall hanging. And so then I donated to the British Red Cross and kind of put that up and stuff. And yeah.
Absolutely. You're a scrappy quilter like I am, but they're asking, in general, what would your average cost per quilt be?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, because you upcycle and scrap piece.
Yeah. See, I think my biggest costs are like things like the sewing machines and the AccuQuilt and the horn table. Like I make the big purchases and the fabric's not.
Where you're saving on the fabric, you're buying your tools.
Yeah. So I don't know, actually. I'd have to think about that. Because sometimes I even use like an old duvet cover for the backing and stuff like that. So it can be cheap, but it can also be, if I added up all the bolt ends and stuff I bought, it probably would be expensive. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Needs to know a price, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips or tricks for threading a needle easily?
Not really. I mean, so I use the automatic thing on the machine, and then if I'm hand sewing, I use one of those. It's like a little flower, like a threader. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that too.
Yeah.
I have to use it. My eyes are too bad.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's anything else here, and then we'll open it up to the chats. Do you have any specific fabric? Like, do you like the cottons? Do you like the denims?
Well, both. Yeah, I like to mix denim and cotton. I think that looks nice. Like, because denim's like quite a good background fabric. But no, I still mostly use quilter's cotton. I just don't buy it like in fat quarter bundles and stuff. I just buy it differently to other people.
Absolutely. And is there any special techniques that you use that you'd like to share with us? Like when you're processing, like you're cutting down, like you said in the beginning, you throw your fabric basically out and then you start maneuvering it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I understood you to say. But one of them is like, before she does that, do you like cut them on a cutting mat, or do you get down and shear them off and then get up and sew them? I pan a lot on the floor.
Yeah, I have a really large, I'm not sure what size it is, but I have like a really large cutting mat on the floor. And then I've got like a normal one up on the table. So it depends. I suppose my thing really is having stuff set up. So I guess the horn tables help me a bit. So it's got like an extension on this side and a little thing on the other side. So I've got my iron and this little teeny pressing mat over here, and then my cutting mat is here and the machine is here. So if I'm doing
So you're in your little nook.
if I'm doing something like this, I can just do a circle, you know, like I'm chain piecing it, cut it off the end, press it, trim it, put it back with something
Right back.
go
It
around and
makes it
around.
easier to have the circle.
Yeah, yeah.
In this you.
I don't have to get up to do
That
anything.
easier.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me hit the chat up real quick and we'll see. I'm going to go all the way to the top, guys, and then I'll catch everything. I don't want to miss anything. Polly entered the chat. She told us about her contest. Ingrid said, hi, Donna and Kristen. Marie, hi, Donna and Kristen. I love you, ladies. We love you, too. Marie telling Ingrid, hi. Good for you. Janine, hello. Kristen, videos. Hi, Donna. She loves your videos. Marie, they're talking back and forth. Let me see. Polly, here for a minute. Send an email. My husband's already got that, Miss Polly. Vicky, hi, Marie. Janine, I knew I liked you for a reason. Kristen, I'm a cat lover also. Isn't that sweet? Marie H, wait a minute. Where is it? You still have your Canadian accent. Lovely. Isn't that sweet?
Not going anywhere.
The guy who sews, he says, good day. H, hi, Sean, the guy who sews. I think I'd have to rent a space for a long arm. Hi, Marie, Vicky. I don't know how true this is, but I heard a long arm cost a lot of money. We did hit that in Australia. Around to it, Shirley here from Alberta, Canada. Hello, everyone. Around to it, welcome. The guy who sews, talking back and forth, saying hello to everybody. US dollars, he's doing the conversion.
Okay, yeah.
Now fabric is stupid expensive there, per the guy who sews. It's not uncommon to see around $27 to $28 per yard. Oh my lord.
Whoa.
That's a lot. Sean, if you're still in the chat, where's that at?
Wasn't he from Australia?
Yeah, he's from Australia.
Yeah, so it's gotta be Australian dollars, but still that's expensive, yeah.
That's crazy expensive.
Phew.
Courtney, welcome, sweetheart. Thank you for joining, honey. The guy who says, oh wow, you have a gum tree. That we caught that part. A meter is 1 yard 3 inches. Courtney, don't forget to give a thumbs up for Donna and subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you, darling. The guy who says, telling everybody hello. Pauline, welcome. Hello, Donna and Krista, everyone. Welcome. She was late to the chat. One of my mods took a nap. Scrap Fabric Love, they're sharing your channel.
Aw, thank you.
Subscribe for a free pattern. Let me see. Vicky, everybody's saying hello. I'm just skimming down through, guys. Yes, the reminder for the giveaway, it ends tonight at midnight, everyone. So you have to watch the May 15th video, please, and that'll give you the directions on how to enter. This is an email only giveaway since we've hit the 1K mark, so we want to make it big, and we've got 10 fancy little envelopes ready to go, and they'll go out in the mail on Monday. So join us back here tomorrow night on our channel for Bebe and I to do this live giveaway. So moving right along, Courtney's channel is Peace, Love, and Quilting, and it gives her times. Practically Creative Melissa, hello honey, welcome. Going down through, let me see, the guy who sews quilts and says thanks. Shirley, aka Roundabout, they're sharing their channels. Donna's Quest today, Donna's Quest, they meant to say guest, is Kristen Hubert, and they're sharing your channel there again. Kristen has 2 blogs, and they've listed your blogs. Melissa, sorry, I was listing why stitching and just saw you, Marie. Instagram, you do have Instagram, they're telling me.
Yeah, I have it. I don't use it as much as I should, but I have it, yeah.
Well, you're out there now. They've just posted it. My mods have.
Thank you, guys.
We're doing the behind the scenes work and getting you out there.
Uh,
Hi, Marie. I just got here. I was cooking. Let me see, Melissa. Hello, everyone. Now's the time if anyone has questions for Miss Kristen. Just coming on. Who was in the interview today from Nancy? Let me see. Moderators telling what time everybody is going live. Kim, Donna, hi. I'm sorry I'm late to the party. Recording life in the country. Thank you for joining. Let me see. Quilting in the country. We've got her. Let's see. That's not how you spell guest. She's spelling quest. Quest. She's doing it from her phone, I'm guessing. But she just corrected it. What country is Kristen from originally, and where are you living now? She's coming in late to the party.
yeah, so I'm from Canada originally, but I live in Scotland. Yeah.
And what took you to Scotland?
Well, so I did an exchange year, third year of university in Wales, which is also part of the United Kingdom. But I did a lot of traveling around, and Edinburgh was just like lovely. It's just like the perfect size. It's like there's lots going on, but it's not huge. You can walk lots of places. And my mother was from just outside Glasgow, so I had right of a boat. I didn't need citizenship or anything like that. So then when I graduated the year after that, I just came back kind of, and then you make friends and you meet husbands and you just stay. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me see where my chat went. The chat moved. Let me get back up here. Guys, hold on just a second. Any questions in the chat now is a good time to ask. Just Practically Creative Melissa, one of my mods, she just subscribed to your channel.
Oh, thank you.
She's practically like me, she says. Practical. Let me see. Kristen, sorry. I got the info from the About tab on your channel. That's okay. That's okay. You can share away.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any last minute questions? I promised her about an hour, and that leaves us with 4 more minutes if you would like to ask anything. So glad I didn't miss you all live. Nancy, sweetheart, we appreciate you all coming. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. It helps us as we're growing, and we appreciate it. If you like the content, please hit the thumbs button. It lets us know that we're heading in the right direction and you do like what we put out. And if you'd like to be notified for when we go live, please ring the bell for notifications. If you have not subscribed to Kristen, please hop over to her page and subscribe. Together we grow, together we sew, and this is how we're all gonna make it in this new adventure of YouTube. So we appreciate each and every one of you. What part of Canada did you live in?
That's Toronto. Toronto, yeah. Yeah.
Quilting in the country. Just subscribe to your channel. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. We appreciate it. So, you said you go live on what days? Or do you just...
No, I don't go live. I post videos on Monday, usually. Yeah.
Okay. Check her channel out for Mondays.
I think it's usually, it'd be morning U.S. time, I think. Yes, it's usually afternoon my time. Yeah.
All right. Check about 9 o'clock in the morning here, y'all, and start watching her. She puts out fabulous content, and you won't be disappointed, I can tell you that. So, Kristen, thank you for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. I'd love to have you back anytime you're available.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Yeah, just let me know.
I appreciate it, and I know your time's valuable, and I'm glad that we could get you in on a Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just glad the kids didn't wake up in the middle.
It's okay if they would have. You could hold them in your arm. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We mother and grandma, But thanks for sharing my link on your channel as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get some people from over there to join me a little
Oh yeah,
bit.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Absolute. I'd love that.
yeah,
And anytime you're free, shoot me a message. You have my number, and we can hook up and do a little sewing chat.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or
That'd be
do some kind of
fun.
project together, something for sure. Yeah, we have
Yeah,
to think
that'd be
about that.
fun.
Yeah,
I'd love
yeah,
to have
cool.
you. So
Great.
I watch all the time. I'm sub to Kristen now. Thanks, ladies. Have fun. Guys, we're going to go ahead and end it. It's 4 o'clock and she's got babies to deal with. Just everybody remember, together we grow, together we sew. Be kind, be sweet, and be generous to everybody. Everybody, you don't know what their day is going to be like. So thank you guys for the interview. Thanks for coming on and watching our content. I'll see you ladies back here tomorrow night, and gents, for the giveaway with Bebe and I. It's going to be a grand celebration. And Monday night at 7 o'clock, I am interviewing none other than Teresa Louise I Quilt-As-You-Go. So I'll see you guys back tomorrow night. And thank you. Kristen, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. No,
I
it was fun.
appreciate it.
You're offline.
Okay, keep